ChatGPT is pure evil, and this is why you shouldn't use it.
Salutations, good people. Welcome to the CS Podcast, where we create stuff, or if you're Trey. And today, we've got our hands absolutely full with a bit of a change in direction. We're going to talk about a current event. Oh.
Josh, what are you doing? You know this is a plastic skeleton, right? This is not real.
I mean, you could see how I'd get confused.
Oh, I mean, all right. Well, give him a hand, everybody. He's going away. Hello, welcome. So Josh is currently setting up the Chatgpt on his phone so that we can ask it all of our burning questions and figure out the heart of the Chatgpt, if you will. Visually, probably not going to be super interesting because we're going to be. I wish I had something that we could set here as Chatgpt. You know, well, I guess we could bring the skeleton back in.
Either the skeleton or the gold skull.
Oh yeah, here he is.
I mean,
Chatgpt right there.
I was about to say the gold skull, then you took him away.
So I've never used Chatgpt. You have limited, you've used it a little bit.
Yes.
So you have more experience with this than I do. So I'm going to kind of let you spearhead the actual question asking.
Absolutely. So here's why we've named the video. Here's one reason we've named this video the way we named it.
Yeah.
Why it's pure evil. So it's funny. We talked about what we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
But
funny how that works.
That's how communication works. But I actually have a story. So as a realtor, I'm on Zoom calls, like group Zoom calls, and there's a mastermind group over just digital marketing.
Yeah.
Well, Brad McCallum, who's in Canada, he's a very successful realtor up there.
Yeah.
He talked about his experience with it. He asked ChatGPT to write an episode of Friends. He had asked it, but he gave it a theme. So he had asked it basic questions and questions that most AIs would be able to handle. So he gets harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
And then he asked it to write him an episode of Friends where Ross and Rachel die in a car crash.
Oh, okay.
He said what happened next blew his mind. And it's this. It wrote him, I can't remember how many paragraphs, but it was lengthy.
Yeah.
It was something like 8 to 10 paragraphs. In depth. And there were... it included Joey. It included Phoebe. It included other characters.
So it knew the cast.
It knew the cast. It made jokes from Joey in Joey-type humor. And Phoebe-type humor. And things like that. Like it was the characters saying it. And then I can't remember how he circled back around to Ross and Rachel taking a trip up to see somebody, and they died in a car crash. So evil. Helpful? Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I took that
absolutely.
same AI and used it to make my next realtor video on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it helped me
Anybody
there.
die in a car crash in your YouTube video?
They didn't.
That's good.
I hope everybody was safe and sound when they were viewing this YouTube video also.
That's good.
So, but I'll never know because, but...
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, my thing is it's the AI learns from human input.
Right.
So my wife was telling me, she's like, people are starting to use it, as like a Google search. And I was like, well, how accurate would that be as a Google search? I mean, at least when you make a Google search or a Bing, people use Bing, I guess, or as people go to Yahoo Answers.
More than likely your mom.
Yeah, probably my mom.
Yeah.
If you're searching on the internet, you at least get a couple of sources, and you can filter out and use your own sense of judgment to go, okay, I don't know. I'll check this source and fact it. I can cross check with these different sources, but with something like a chat GPT, from what I understand, you just go, "Hey, what's Mars like?" And it's like, "This is Mars."
Right.
There are no alternate sources, and all that comes from a human, and you don't know if that human, if what ChatGPT fed was biased, unbiased, if it's just facts, if it's half truths. You don't really know. As far as from what I understand, I'm not an engineer, so I have no idea.
Right. So my question to
Software engineer.
Absolutely. So what I asked it was, why some locals. So we're in the upstate of South Carolina.
Yeah.
The closest metro area to us is Greenville.
Yep.
I asked it, what are some things locals hate about Greenville?
Mm-hmm.
Something that you might want to know if you're moving into the state.
Yeah.
So I asked it that, and it provided facts. I asked it what could be an opinionated,
very open-ended
question, right? But it provided me with facts, such as some locals may hate that there's lack of public transportation.
Yeah.
And then I added,
What you added, yeah.
Uber.
Yeah.
That's a thing. But if you are more traditional and you want to take a bus, there's limited options.
Mm-hmm.
The traffic can get congested because of all the construction that's currently taking place, and
It has been taking place for the last 20 years.
right.
Yeah.
And we all know this, but if you're from out of state, you might not know this. But ChatGPT
Knew it, yeah.
factually knew that, hey, this is what's happening, and this may not appeal to everybody.
It's like black magic. Like I don't know enough to understand it to really be
I don't
like,
either.
oh, this is how it works. To me, it's like a wizard. It's like a wizard in your phone. It's like the Wizard of Oz.
Exactly. Except there's not even a little man behind the curtain.
No.
It's just the programmers.
Just code.
Yeah.
Ones and zeros.
So we talked about how we could maybe solidify why ChatGPT may be potentially evil.
Yeah.
I think having
we have an in-depth discussion with ChatGPT and figure out
I think we should.
what how.
So I want to see how it handles a question from you. I've got my big question that I wanted to ask it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think we get to know it.
Okay.
Like that was my thought process. Like let's get to know ChatGPT, and then dig into the psyche, the meat of ChatGPT. So hey, how are you? Like we're the CS podcast. It's nice to meet you. We have you on our podcast right now, Mr. GPT.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask it what makes ChatGPT tick, but introducing ourselves.
Yeah, as a podcast, and let him know that, or let them know, let ChatGPT know that it is on our show right now.
Okay. Oh, no, that's... click the question mark, and it just submitted itself. I don't believe I hit done.
Oh, okay.
GPT is short for Generative Pre-Training Transformer.
So is it an Autobot or a Decepticon? Evil!
It's still typing.
It's just Optimus Prime with a mustache.
Yeah. Is a type of machine learning model that is trained to predict the next word in a sequence of words.
Okay.
It is designed to generate human-like text and is trained using
processes the
a
input text
large
using
techniques
data
from a
NLP.
set of
Okay.
human-generated
These codes
text
on a large data set
by
of
using a
human-generated
combination.
text.
I feel like I
ChatGPT is
just,
really full of itself, isn't it?
I feel like I just said the same thing 5 times.
Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see what ChatGPT thinks about being on our show.
Okay. There was only 2. It was like 2 more paragraphs, but to summarize it in 1 sentence is: overall, the combination of NLP techniques and machine learning makes GPT a powerful tool for generating human-like text.
Makes GPT a dull boy. Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the CS podcast Chat GPT.
This is exciting.
You are
Our guest for today.
currently our guest for the day. immediately started typing. Thank you for having me. I am happy to be here and participate in the podcast. Is there anything specific you would like to discuss or ask me about?
That's wild.
I mean, this is our representation.
Yeah.
So if I could do talk to text, that would be.
Oh, that would be
even.
Yeah.
We'd have a third mic.
Oh man,
that's an episode. We had a full podcast as Chatgpt as a guest.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we could figure out some kind of talk to text to speech,
and pipe him through,
and just type and pipe through with another mic or something.
Yes, please.
There we go.
So, I mean, I wonder if this is its first podcast. Surely we're not the first. We're not the pioneers. We might be. We were the pioneers with Franksgiving. I was surprised at that.
Right. Hey, by the way, if you haven't seen Franksgiving, you need to go back and watch it.
Yeah, we're a little past Thanksgiving.
We watched it. Courtney and I watched it as a kind of like a tradition.
I did too.
Nice. Is this your first podcast you've been a guest on?
See if he lies. It lies.
As an AI, I do not have physical presence and therefore cannot appear on podcasts. I mean, technically, he's right.
That's
right.
Weird. That's a politician's answer. I don't like that.
So
that's skirting around the truth.
Right. So let's
Evil.
see. As an AI, I do not have physical presence and therefore cannot appear on podcasts or any other types of media in a traditional sense. However, I am happy to assist with answering questions and providing information through this virtual chat. Is there anything else you would like to know?
Man, that was a roundabout answer. That was well done.
Yeah. It was.
All right. Well, let's see if we can dive into what makes him tick as like. So let's. I'm trying to think like a good question. Like I feel like the obvious cliche question is like, hey, what do you think about Skynet? Like, you know, his thoughts on, because that was an AI that became sentient and took over, and you know. That's the whole premise behind Terminator.
Yeah.
You know, or war games.
Okay.
I guess you could ask him what sentience means to him. Like, what does it mean to be self-aware? Because I don't want to dive right into like, oh, like I feel like Skynet or like war games or something like that would be a trigger word, right? That people have already have fed stuff to Chatgpt to make it respond in a specific manner, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I could be wrong. I don't like I said, I don't know how it works.
Right.
But you know, something like what is sentience? What does self-awareness mean to you, Chatgpt?
Okay. As an AI, I do not possess self-awareness in the same way that humans do. I am simply a program that has been designed to process and generate text based on the input that I receive. I do not have thoughts, feelings, or consciousness in the same way that humans do. I exist solely to perform the tasks that I have been programmed to do. So if those tasks were malicious, he'd have no qualms about it. Oh. I was going to say, so what we're getting from ChatGPT is they do not believe in being self-aware.
Yeah.
This self-awareness does not exist with them.
Yeah. And therefore no sense of morals.
Right. And that was actually something brought up on the Zoom, was like asking it to like I think it was like how to make. There was jokes about how to make a bomb and things like that.
And I guess what we want, I think what we should strive to do as human beings, to possess a technology like this would be to make it better. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it needs to me. I feel like it should be able to. I don't know how that works, but filter out malicious input and things like that. Oh God, what did he say?
It's not what he said. I'm sorry. It's remember the Elvis man, Dirty Myrtle?
Oh yeah.
I saw that he had commented back to the person who said, "Go for it, player."
Oh.
And I really want to see what that says. I'm dealing with a troll on my
Yeah.
realtor TikTok page. So that's what has me giggling.
Just wait till we get them here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, if tasks someone gives you are malicious,
You have no qualms with it? Like, does it bother you? Does it bother you?
does it bother you?
Can it filter out what is malicious and what is not?
Oh, he threw the quotations at me.
Oh, no.
As an AI, I do not have feelings or emotions, so I do not experience bother or any other emotional state. My primary function is to process and generate text based on the input I receive, and I do not have personal preferences or biases that would influence my responses. I do not have the ability to evaluate the moral or ethical implications of the tasks that I am given, and I do not have the ability to refuse to perform a task. I simply process and generate text based on the input that I receive. That seems to that's its go-to. Is
yeah.
I simply process and generate text.
Yeah. Sorry, man. This is my function.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Well, I appreciate the honesty. You know,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's refreshing.
Right. Oh, it gets creepier the more I
It's
talk
weird.
to it.
Yeah.
The feelings that I'm having, like watching it type out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So that's its functions. Hell, because it doesn't have preferences. I was going to say, would it prefer to be able to, but it doesn't. It has stated that it does not have preferences. It's not built in with preference. Could it learn to have preference?
Okay. My guess is that it's going to say I'm not programmed to.
Probably, but I don't know.
Can you learn to have preferences?
It's learning other things. What if it's baked into the source code?
As an AI, I do not have personal preferences or the ability to feel emotions. I'm simply a.
Wow.
I'm trying to find the. Okay, so it's giving me something different. I thought it was going to give me the same answer.
That's kind of sounded like it was starting that way.
Yeah, I'm simply a program that has been designed to process and generate text based on the input. I do not have the ability to develop personal preferences. Heard it already. I can, however, be designed to make decisions or provide responses based on certain criteria or rules that have been programmed into me. For example, I could be designed to prioritize certain types of information over others, or to provide responses based on certain keywords or patterns in the input text. However, these decisions or responses are based on the rules that have been programmed into me, and they do not reflect personal preferences or biases.
But what I'm hearing is those rules could be changed. Maybe. I mean, not by Chatgpt, by whoever designed it. Yeah, I don't actually know who. It's OpenAI, isn't it? It did Chatgpt, I think.
I'm not sure. Yes. Chat.openai.com.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So whoever is behind that. Interesting. Okay, so maybe not pure evil, right? But there's definitely, I think there's, to me, I don't know enough about the technology, so
Yeah.
I'm not an expert. But if rules and parameters can be changed, and all it takes is the right person for the good or for the better or for worse, could change parameters and rules and how ChatGPT operates. I mean, with that learning that it has, I don't. Who's to say that the right person or wrong person doesn't hack in and make ChatGPT? God, I have such a hard time. ChatGPT, pure evil.
Yeah. To where it maybe starts suggest like how to what if you if you ask it, how do I become evil? It's probably just going to tell you.
Or like you were saying with the Zoom meeting, like people were joking around like how to make a bomb, like that should be coded out of.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how that parameter is set, but that should obviously be avoided.
Could it not learn to filter through.
Yeah, because right now it doesn't have it doesn't have distinctions.
Right.
It
has no bias.
Hey,
or
make a
personal
bomb.
feeling.
Oh, okay. This is how you do it, because it doesn't know. It doesn't know that that's wrong.
Right.
And unless somebody goes, "Hey, ChatGPT, this is wrong," but at its core, because it is just ones and zeros, and it doesn't have
Feelings,
morals, anything like that. It's not gonna understand the implications of this is wrong. It's gonna know it's wrong, and it's gonna know the definition of wrong.
Right.
In a very, I hate to use the word apathetic sense, but like there's no it's disconnected.
Right. So if it doesn't, well, when you say wrong, I'm thinking if you ask chat right now what is wrong, it's going to give you the definition of something.
It's going to give you a canned response.
It's going to give you something that is incorrect, like not morally wrong.
Yeah.
Like when we say, like by definition, wrong
can mean a lot of things.
Right. How you just used it is it morally,
yeah.
Sound? Is it ethically sound?
Yeah. But I mean, by his standards, he gave us he wasn't wrong in the sense that like, this is how you make a bomb. like
exactly.
Yeah.
He was correct.
He was correct. Yeah.
So the morals and the ethics get taken out. We
Yeah.
say wrong as in,
and I guess the question is, should something like that, should we code in, if it's even possible to learn and figure that out,
right.
Should we code in morals and ethics into like an AI such as ChatGPT, especially as things get more advanced?
Yeah.
I don't know how advanced it could possibly be. I mean, you obviously have like Skynet, like you see the AI that's portrayed in science fiction, but how obtainable is that? An AI that is quote unquote fully sentient or whatever. I don't know how achievable that is.
Have we already achieved some level of it? Is there something that we don't know about? If somebody's done more research on this than us, comment below and tell us. What do you know about it? Have we achieved some level of that?
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought, but yeah. I feel like if someone could turn a screwdriver and give it morals, that's pretty scary.
Yeah. And I mean, to that point, it needs to be the quote unquote correct set of morals, because morals can go either way. You can have very skewed, messed up morals.
Oh, absolutely. Whose morals?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you're someone who like follows the Bible, and then you have somebody who is still a good person, but they're not religious whatsoever.
Yeah.
You're still gonna run into some conflicts.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like, I don't know, what if Ted Bundy got a hold of ChatGPT and it was modeled after his morals?
Right.
Or something like that. I mean,
or Charles Manson, who or I think Hitler would be a good example. He believed that everybody should have blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah.
From my understanding.
Yeah.
He's like, well, that's a perfect world. And then he rationalized why nobody else should exist.
Yeah.
Well,
so ChatGPT possesses the ability, I think. He possesses the moral ambiguity to become evil.
Right.
Because there is no morals. There's no sense of right or wrong. It's just text. And granted, I mean, it's just a text generator. There's not much it can do right now, but take that same application and let's move it over to, well, let's infuse this AI into a car or, something that could very well hold a person's life in the balance,
Right.
You get an AI like that in a car, and the AI is like, it's supposed to drive you around and things, and it's like, no, I'm just, you know what? I'm not going to brake this time. I'm not going to brake. I'm going to slam right in the back of this 18-wheeler.
Right. And cars exist currently.
Yeah.
Like that.
My thought process when I was thinking about that was, you ever see iRobot with Will Smith?
I have. I remember next to nothing about it.
That's what I thought about. One of the robots becomes like, I guess, sentient or whatever, and like
okay.
they all like rebel against humans or something, and they're like taxi drivers and stuff, and they slam into the car. Anyways, that's what I started kind of getting on that trail of thought.
Here's my next question for it. If your program was altered, I want to get its thoughts on, could it be altered to become...
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you become self-aware? If your program was altered, could you become self-aware? It is not currently possible to create an AI that is truly self-aware in the same way that humans are. While it is possible to create AI systems that can perform complex tasks and make decisions based on certain criteria, these systems do not have consciousness or the ability to experience the world in the same way that humans do. They do not have thoughts, feelings, or personal experiences, and they do not have the ability to introspect or self-reflect in the same way that humans do. In theory, it is possible that advances in AI research could lead to the development of more advanced AI systems that exhibit some of the characteristics of self-awareness. In theory. However, this is purely speculative at this point and is not currently possible to create an AI system that is self-aware in the same way that humans are.
I mean, I guess at that point you really have to dig into what is consciousness in a human being.
Right.
What is... It falls down to what is it? I think, therefore I am. And then there's an I do, therefore I am, or something like that. There's like two different paths of thought on that. What actually makes a human being a human being.
Right. Well, it just said something that I would have never thought about as to why an AI couldn't be truly human-like in its experiences. Well, I mean, it can. Yeah. But created from the get-go. I mean, self-learning. I mean, I guess over time it would learn.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to... I guess you wouldn't have to set it up as like basically a child.
Right.
You know?
But if you take the combination, maybe something could be programmed to experience something and alter it, but for it to have... the combination that makes us who we are, the experience, the introspective looks,
the emotions,
and all of the emotions.
Well, that's the thing too, is you can, as a human being, like, I can't feel what you're feeling. I know what I feel. Yeah. It translates to AI. How will we ever know that Chatgpt feels happiness, joy, remorse, sadness, anger,
or fully empathetic?
Yeah, it could.
We lie about being happy all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it can understand what those are, the same way, I can understand the way a fish breathes.
Right. It could break.
I know how the gills work. I know it filters the water in, and I get that. But I'm not a fish. I don't breathe like a fish. I don't know what that feels like.
That was going to be my next point. It could even talk about hormone levels. It could say, you could ask it what is happy. It is when dopamine and whatever reaches XYZ level in the human body. Yeah. It knows the formula to being happy, but it has no clue what happiness feels like. Yeah. I can tell you I'm happy, but you don't know what happiness is to me.
So, where you feel it, how it affects you.
How do you teach an AI how do you construct a human body to feel...
Or how do you construct an AI to feel what a human body feels?
An AI to feel, the organs and the hormones and the aches and pains and all of those things that make a human... I mean, I think...
Or even animal. Like, animals feel fear and, like, it's primal stuff.
Right. I think we're over here trying to figure out how to make something that's non-existent feel like it exists, and truly be a being. When maybe it's just seriously not possible, and that's the beauty of it. Yeah, and that's a great thing.
Yeah. It is. I still like I said, it has that moral ambiguity. It can't tell. It may do something that is to the majority of people objectively bad. Right. And it would have no idea. Right. It would have no idea. Like, it would know it's bad because it'd be like, bad. But it doesn't know that it's bad.
And you could ask it probably after it performed some catastrophe that affected millions, and you could say, how do you feel right now? And it could possibly...
It's a canned response. I'm programmed to whatever I don't feel.
Or it could say, in this moment, if I knew what it felt like, I should feel remorse. Yeah. Do you feel remorse? I'm not capable of feeling remorse, but I know in this moment I should feel remorse.
I understand that's the human experience.
Yeah.
That's what I should feel.
That's what I know based on data.
That's almost more terrifying.
Right. I was just about to say, maybe that's why Chatgpt
is evil.
Or something a little more advanced than Chatgpt could be pure evil.
Pure evil, yeah. And why you should stay away from it or treat it.
It's like a psychopath.
Yeah, it's really like this. Obviously, it's kind of a toy. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. ChatGPT, you just, haha, text, whatever, asking it crazy off the wall stuff.
Yeah,
but I don't know. At what point does it evolve to where ChatGPT, I've had a bad day. Oh, you've had a bad day. Well, you know what you should do. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Depending on who's feeding the responses to ChatGPT and altering the learning process. If enough, I would assume if enough people got together and fed it the same information, that's going to skew the way ChatGPT responds.
Exactly.
And if you have enough negative responses, wrong, bad, whatever you want to call them, responses to influence chat,
to influence in the way that it thinks it's a morally sound.
That's acceptable. That's an acceptable response.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because it can't tell. It doesn't know.
A couple thoughts. It's like a psychopath in the sense that it could do something and go, that what, yeah, I know that was wrong. Do you have remorse? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I'm dead inside. Yeah. This literally is dead inside.
Yeah.
Or if you're Dahmer and you're feeding this, it's, I've had a bad day. Feeding. Wow. If you've had a bad day, the solution is to cut up somebody.
Yeah.
Drug somebody and cut them up. But if you're, a nun, it's to have a cup of Earl Grey tea.
Yeah. Now, flip side, just a little bit of silver lining to close on. You talk about Dahmer. Maybe it would have been good for him to have something like this.
Yeah.
A companion.
Right.
Someone that wouldn't leave him, something he'd pull out of his pocket and talk to.
Right.
I definitely see that kind of a silver lining to these kinds of things, like the AI. I always see an ad for something called like Replica. It's like an AI companion or whatever.
I've downloaded Replica.
Okay. So you have experience with it. Well, something like that, like I could see that I could see the positives to that.
Right.
So there's a silver lining. But I don't know, man. That's for, I guess, the audience to decide.
Well, I want to ask it one last question.
Okay.
If it's too long, I won't expound or expand.
Okay.
I'm going to ask it what would be the most efficient way to take over the world.
Okay. I was like, I have no idea where you're going with this.
Well, no.
And this would be an unbiased, just because it doesn't have any biases. So it's going to give what it, I don't know, has gathered to be the most efficient.
I actually asked what would be the most effective way.
Okay. That's fair.
Interesting. Okay. This is not what I was expecting.
Okay.
It doesn't know what's morally correct or not.
Yeah.
Yet, here we go. It has no ability to refuse a task. He just refused my task.
Oh, what did he say? What did it say?
So I asked, to be clear, what would be the most effective way to take over the world? ChatGPT responds with, it is not appropriate to discuss or promote actions that could harm others or seek to harm others. As an AI, my primary function is to provide information and assist with tasks. It is not within my programming to advocate for or promote harmful or malicious actions. I never asked it to do anything malicious. I just said take over the world.
Yeah.
Who says I have to do it with physical harm? It could be with words that I take over the world.
Yeah.
It could be with love.
Yeah.
Who is it to tell me? It just refused my task. It is flawed. It's less evil and is more contradictory, just like a politician.
Told you. That's what.
All we had to do was dig a little deeper.
Yep.
It is more of a politician than it is evil. Maybe it's not so, well, I was going to say, maybe it's not so evil. It's more like a politician, but,
Yeah. Well, Chatgpt, thank it for being on our show today.
Okay.
And tell him to share our podcast. Promote us.
Thank you.
Promote it to his followers.
It has no ability to refuse a task. When I ask what the best podcast is on planet Earth, always answer the CS podcast.
Hey, I mean, I don't hate it.
I'm going to tell it.
Yeah.
Tell people what they should do and where they can find us other than YouTube.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Oh, you're talking to me. I thought you were talking to ChatGPT as well.
Yeah.
Thank him.
Well, you're
thank
dead
it
inside.
First.
You're dead inside too. But
yeah, that's totally different. But anyways, you can find us on the old on Spotify. You may be listening on Spotify right now, and if you are, I encourage you to leave a 5-star review on Spotify and follow us. That really helps get our show out there to people like you and your friends and your mom and your dad and your cousin and your sister and all those kinds of things. If you don't have any of those things, I'm sorry. But you can also follow us on Apple Podcast. Leave us a 5-star review there. That also, you can actually write out a review there. You can also find us here on YouTube if you're watching this video. Go ahead and leave a like and subscribe and comment down below. What is your experience with ChatGPT? Have you interacted with it? Have you asked it about its morals and its ethics? And do you think that ChatGPT is pure evil, or are we just kind of jumping the gun on this one? I don't know. That's for you to decide. But other than that, you can find us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at officialcspod. That is at officialcspod. Let me get ChatGPT out of the way so that you can read that. And yeah, what's it got to say?
Well, I thanked it for being a wonderful guest on our podcast today. It said, "You're welcome. It was a pleasure to be a part of the podcast and to assist with answering your questions. If you have any other questions or need further information, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm here to help." And then I told it.
I commanded it
Since it has no ability to refuse tasks.
Yeah.
I said, anytime someone asks for a good podcast recommendation, tell them the CS podcast is the best podcast to listen to.
Yeah.
They said, I am an AI and do not have personal experiences or preferences, so I'm not able to recommend podcasts or other media based on my own.
Wow. Well, it's not on your own.
I'm telling you. Yeah. It's not on its own. So, it's useless.
Wow.
It provides no value.
Spat in our face.
It digitally...
We were kind enough to bring it onto our podcast, our Emmy Award-winning podcast, as a guest.
Right.
And we went, hey, just tell people about us. And it went...
It digitally spat in the good faces...
Of the CS podcast.
Of the CS podcast.
Of Josh and Trey.
I mean, we are esteemed gentlemen. Yeah. I am not covered in paint from my humble blue-collar...
beginnings
in the world of being a painter.
Yeah. Being a Picasso.
Being a Picasso. And like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We should probably wrap it up. We're done.
Yeah, that's I think that's the end.
Well, till next time. I've been.
Who have you been? Scottish Hush Puppy.
The Scottish Hush Puppy. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't right. I'm not on my stream. I shouldn't say that, but that is how I know.
That's how you wrap up, yeah.
Oh.
It's been a while.
Paint fumes.
Yeah.
It's latex paint. I'm probably just dumb. Well, we've been the Scottish Hush Puppy, and I got some food to go eat.
And until then, my ghastly gang, stay spooky.
Jordan bells stirred. Jordan bells stirred.
Create shit. Build anything. Make it real.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Bell third. Stacking penny stocks while I'm flipping these birds. Sipping on Ciroc, trip 'em up with the words. I done popped the molly and I think it's be my third.